What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. You can find me on Twitter at Packers_access. You can email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Tim in Green Bay here to talk to Packers this evening as we are on the eve of Packers versus Texans at Lambeau Field. Beautiful forecast. There you go. These guys right here. I'll tell you, you're going to need those sunglasses, Coach Half, tomorrow. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous out there, right?
Yes,
I think
sir.
they're calling for 75 degrees and sunny. It's going to be awesome, man. Going to be a good day for some football. First things first, Tim. So as we're getting ready for this game tomorrow, Tim, I know you had mentioned in a tweet, kind of funny, it's the winter warning game that we've all been ready for, right? But it's funny that with the weather supposed to be 75 degrees, you think, oh, what were they thinking? But also, I heard someone say on the radio the other day, I was listening to a Green Bay radio, and they were saying, if they did it in the middle of winter, it would be hard to get everybody to dress in white because everybody had their camo on, they'd have their orange on, all their hunting gear, right? So it is kind of a good move by the Packers to do it in October before it gets too chilly that everybody would wear it. But I thought this was hilarious. The Packers tweeted this out. You're going to stick out like a sideways pinky if you're not wearing white on Sunday. So I'm pretty sure we know who they're referencing there. But, Tim, it's going to be awesome in this whiteout game.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with that sentiment. Like, if you didn't do it this week, I'm looking at the schedule over here. It'd probably be the Lions would be your next opportunity, maybe the 49ers. But by mid-November, I mean, forget it. There could be snow on the ground already. So I get the whole sentiment of the winter warning, but it is kind of funny. It's a total Wisconsin thing that, it's going to be almost 80 degrees tomorrow for the winter warning game. But, hey, I love it. All white, bust them out. Let's go. This is a kind of impromptu throwback to what we discovered the other night, right? We had white helmets with the green stripe going down the middle back in the 50s for a handful of seasons. So chance to kind of, pay homage to our founding fathers here at Titletown and also look crispy, as the kids say, fresh to death for the winter warning game tomorrow. So I'm all for it, man. The white unis look good. The boys have been wearing them all week. I think since at least Monday, they've been working out with them on. So they're used to them. They're ready to roll. And I already know that the crowd is going to be hype tomorrow and wearing all white. So I love it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time, man. I'm excited. Anytime they do a uniform change up, I always enjoy it. There was a college team today wearing the brown helmets like the Packers wore back in the day. I personally loved them, where it kind of represented the leather helmets. But the way they did it, they did a 3D painting on the helmet that looked like the leather stripping and everything.
Wow.
So they looked sick. I want to say it was Michigan and maybe Indiana or Illinois, one of those teams. Really, really cool. But obviously, here the Packers tweeting this out. You're going to stick out like a sideways pinky. We know who that's in reference.
How about these hands?
So pretty cool little Easter egg there for Packer fans. I think it's awesome that they're upping their game on social media, man. It's been a good year for that crew. Yep. They really took the David Bakhtiari criticism serious, didn't they?
Yeah, for sure. I still love those throwbacks too, man. The old the 1919, the 1921, with the dark blue. And the, like you said, the leather neck kind of look. I love it.
Yeah, I do too, man. It's people are going to find something to complain about regardless. So the ones who didn't like it, I mean, it just kind of comes with the territory, right? There's always going to be someone who doesn't like it. And I know there's other people that pop up and say, oh, well, you gotta stick to the tradition. You shouldn't wear anything other than the original uniforms, this and that. I got you. I understand, but it's okay to loosen up, have a little fun every now and again.
Do we still have that image from the other day? Because it basically broke down, the years, right? It was 58, 59, and 60, I think. They had the white helmet with the green stripe. There it goes.
Yeah.
56 to 58. Okay, there you go. Yeah. So plain white helmet with dark green stripe. That's basically what we're kind of paying homage to tomorrow. We added the G to the side, but I get it. I love it.
Yeah, I do too, man. Tell you what else I love, man. Some Josh Jacobs. That dude is running. I mean, it's not that he's like putting up like gaudy numbers, Tim, like he's averaging 6 yards a carry or anything. But the dude is so durable. There's no wasted yards out there. There's no two ways about it. Now, the Packers, according to PFF, their run blocking is down. So the fact that he's fourth in the league, or I think fifth in the league in rushing, is just wild as far as rushing yards. I put this tweet out earlier, and I said, Green Bay Packers running back Josh Jacobs is now the fifth ranked halfback according to PFF, and that is if you set the minimum at 70 attempts. Okay, so there's like one or two guys. I think if you just removed all filters there, all minimum requirements, I'm pretty sure Josh Jacobs is like eighth or ninth. But if you move it down to 70 attempts or more, he's the fifth highest graded halfback according to PFF. He's also fifth in the NFL in rushing yards at 464 rushing yards coming into week 7. He has 12 explosive runs on the year, which is obviously the running plays that are 10 plus yards per play. Okay, so the amount of plays that he's rushed for more than 10 yards on a single play is 12. And if you take it a step further, 3 of those 12 exceeded 20 yards. And I believe the number, I had it wrote down earlier, I want to say it was 22, 32, and 34. But here are those plays. I thought let's jump in and see exactly what they're doing as far as these explosive plays go, especially the ones that are cracking over 20 yards. So let's start this first one here. It's a 22-yard run. This is against the Eagles in week 1. This is 26 zone right. I put zone right because it kind of looked like it might have been zone left, but the run goes to the right. So I didn't want to say zone left and then the ball go to the right. You know what I'm saying? So it could be just a straight gap call as well, but I think it was designed to go off tackle here to the right. So you're going to aim for the outside hip of Zach Tom. But the interesting thing is Zach Tom's going to crash over and actually help block this defensive tackle here who is playing a 0, a 2. He is playing a 3 tech. All right. So as we roll it here, again, 26, the first number, is the player. If it was a quarterback, it'd be 1. It's the halfback, it's 2. If it's the fullback, it's 3. If it's the right halfback in a split backfield, it would be 4. And then the gaps are assigned with numbers. So to the right are even numbers. So your A gap right would be the 2 gap, the 4 gap, then the 6 is outside tackle. Okay. On the left side, it's odd numbers. So it'd be 1, 3, 5 is how that would line up. All right. So again, this is 26 zone right. So you're going to aim for the outside hip of the tackle, okay? Now, watch Tom on this play. This is wild. So you're going to see him crack inside and help with a double team block, and he just absolutely demolishes 97. I'm pretty sure that's Jalen Carter, if I remember correctly. So I think that's Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis there. But look at that lane he's got to run in, Tim. Look at all that right there. And again, just cut up field, no wasted motion. The little jump cut there, by the way.
That's what bought the extra yardage, right? The jump cut.
Watch him make those 2 Eagles hit each other. Like that Eagle is tackling his own teammate here. Yep. Check that out. That's what you want to see. Bang.
This is what they always talk about when there are no holes in the NFL. There are seams. Like you see right here, a great job by Zach Tom. There's a big hole, and then immediately it closes up. The jump cut from Jacobs is everything on this play.
It really is. Whoop. Oh, beautiful, man. Beautiful. So that was a 22-yarder in week 1 against the Eagles. The next one is a 32-yard run against the Eagles, all right? And this is 23 duo. You'll hear us talk about duo a lot. Duo, remember, is vertical power, okay? And what we mean by vertical power, if it was a normal power play, you would see an offensive lineman change gaps, okay? He would actually come across one whole gap as a lead blocker. That's what you call power, right? Or, you could go weak counter and do like a weak GT counter and have like on the weak side, the guard pull over, that type of thing. With vertical power, what we mean is they're getting to the next level, but they're not changing gaps, okay? And what you're going to notice here is 2 double teams with those guys breaking off the double team and getting to the second level. That's why I believe it was 23 duo. And again, 2 is the running back, 1, 3. So you're going to go with the B gap on the left is where this is designed to run, 23 duo, which is basically duo left. You see a little bit of that boomerang motion we talk about, orbit, bang, right inside. Here we go on the inside hip of Rasheed Walker, and we're off to the races.
God, he's so good, man.
There's no way.
Most running backs move that to the outside and they get blown up. He has the wherewithal to just be patient, step right into that seam as it develops. This is what they talk about when they call him a patient runner, patient with the ball in his hands, let the play develop, hit the hole.
Yeah. No doubt about it, man. It's a beautiful job. Now, what I want you to key in on the duo when we're talking duo. So you've seen this double team right here. You also had a double team here. So now Rashid's going to break off that double team and get vertical. That's what we mean with the vertical power, right? And you see there's two guys doing it. Some people refer to this as double-double, right, or duo. So you're seeing 75 get out here, Sean Ryan get out here after he helped double, and Rasheed Walker getting out to the next level after he helped double. So anytime that you see offensive linemen getting to the second level, two, after they've already helped with the double team, 90% of the time it's going to be duo or double-double, all right? So, again, great job blocking and great hustle by Sean Ryan getting upfield too. But, yeah, Josh Jacobs is just a man amongst boys, man. I'm so glad he's with the Packers. All right, let's go to the Colts game now. And this was the 34-yard run. And, again, 23 duo. So what are we going to do? 1, 3. So it's going to be in between the guard and the tackle. And I'm pretty sure this was duo as well. We're doing it out of the shotgun this time. So you notice double team, right? See these two double teams here?
Yep.
Also, a little double team right here is going to get to the next level. And watch these guys. Now they break off and pick up another block up here. That's what we mean by double-double or duo, okay? And listen, there's some people in the chat probably say, nope, that's zone, Clayton. We can agree to disagree because it is a big debate. When you talk about duo and inside zone, it's really, really hard to determine which is which. But nonetheless, these guys getting out here on the next level. Man, look at Josh Myers on that rep. Holy cow. Look at 71 get out here. I think that was Josh. Yeah. So what's Josh Myers?
Yeah.
Bang right there.
It's like a double team.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to hit here, and then he's going to come back and help chip again. He almost gets in on the third level, too, on the third defender, which is crazy.
He actually gets hands on 3 different defenders. 1, 2, 3.
3, yep.
That's pretty wild, man. That's that athleticism, man. No doubt about it. And, again, you see Rasheed Walker. Watch, he's going to double the – all right, now we're out here. Bang.
See, this is like what you talk about, Clayton, with Josh Myers. Like all of that we just saw, all that action was inside 10 yards.
Right.
You know, like inside 10 yards, he's golden. But, man, if he's got to get downfield and get out there in space, it can be chaotic.
Yeah. And I really think he's just pressing, to be honest with you. He's got all the athletic ability you need to play center at a high level. I think he gets out there in space and kind of panics, you know. Yeah. And listen, it's harder than it looks. So you would think this guy's 320 pounds and he can't close in on that little linebacker. Man, those guys are quick. And all it takes is one half a step in the wrong direction and they're around you.
Exactly. You think 320 pounds moving in one direction, it's pretty hard to just change directions on the drop of a dime, right?
Yeah, no doubt about it. So, again, just wanted to highlight those running plays that were 20 yards or more. Again, Josh Jacobs is now up to 3 of those plays, which are a part of his 12 explosive plays this season. Here's the other thing. The way he runs, Tim, he's not quite like this trying to think of how to say it. He's not extremely fast. He's not like a scat back. He's not one of these guys that are just an absolute slasher and just really, really fast top speed. But he's also not a guy that's just like runs with just brute force Derrick Henry top power. He's kind of in between. You know what I mean? So yeah. I kind of look at him like a mid-size SUV that's got 4-wheel drive. You know what I mean? And I say that because when the winter starts to hit for the Packers and you're going to need to lean on that running game, I like him in the cold more than I would like Aaron Jones. And you guys know I'm an Aaron Jones stan till the end. But Josh Jacobs runs with heavy feet in a good way. Like he always has good contact balance. And I think when it's chilly outside and those guys don't want to pop those pads as much, and also when the field starts to get slick, I think he's going to be a lot more effective than Aaron Jones in those conditions. What do you think about that?
I mean, I like the comparison because to me, I look at him like he's like a hybrid. All the things you love about Aaron Jones's game and all the things you love about Derrick Henry's game, that's Josh Jacobs. When he needs to lower the shoulder, he'll lower the shoulder. He can play big boy running back if you need him to in a pinch. Like you said, cold weather games. Ball security has been kind of touch and go off and on, but for the most part, he had that one fumble at the goal line against the Colts, and so far so good with him. But dynamic in the pass game, able to run motion, able to sidestep defenders even if a play gets blown up. We saw him bounce one to the outside after the B gap got sealed up, scored a tutter for us. I mean, these are the same things you like about Aaron Jones and the same things you like about Derrick Henry. Rough and tumble back when you need him to be, light on his feet, quick and agile when you need him to be. And I'm just waiting for Josh Jacobs to get that first receiving touchdown, man. Let's get the monkey off the back already. But other than that, man, he's just so fun to watch, man. He really is. And I'm with you, Clayton. I think at the end of the day, durability factor, that ground and pound, rough and tumble, November, December, January football at 1265. You need a guy like Josh Jacobs. We love Aaron Jones, but we all know that, for the last few years prior to this season, like we always talked about A.J. Dillon stepping up in the cold weather games. And a lot of the times it's because you need a back like that. And I just think it's refreshing to see Josh Jacobs here able to do that consistently throughout the year. And hopefully he stays healthy down the stretch and, continues to be that weapon for us on offense.
Yeah, and it's a good point, too. And, the big thing about Aaron Jones as well is we were like, can he stay healthy? Right? Guys, he's on IR. Best of my knowledge, right? Like it happened again. And it's going to happen. The way he runs, and it's a testament to how he plays the game. Obviously, he plays with a reckless abandon that we absolutely adored forever.
Yep.
But same time, man, so far, Josh Jacobs has stayed healthy, and I think that's what Goody had in mind. Coach Lynn in the chat said he don't get caught from behind very often. It's true. You'll see him take angles and catch him, right? But again, we haven't seen it once this year where he's gotten chased down from behind. So that's a very good point there, Coach Lynn.
And most of his runs, whether it's, inside or outside, it doesn't matter. Like it's usually positive yardage, even if it's a yard or two falling forward, keeping the feet moving. Every once in a while, you'll see him get blown up and, stop his feet or something. And he's tackled for no gain. But most of the time it's forward momentum all the time with Josh Jacobs, no matter what. And you're going to get positive yardage. It's like you were talking about earlier, he may not have the most yards per carry when it comes to the averages, but man, he can break off chunk runs and explosive plays, at the drop of a dime. And I love it.
Yeah, definitely. So appreciate you, Coach Lynn. 2-0 for this says Jonesy was a unicorn of a back, but Jacobs is the type of horse you ride into battle. I love it, man. I love the puns. I love the word salad that my man 2-0 for this always throws. He's like a poet in here.
Ain't no problem. Huh? That ain't no problem.
Well,
it's perfect drop. Rail in the chat. Good to see you, bud. He said, hey, Clayton, was wondering before the game tomorrow if we had a chance to look at the difference in the defense from last year when it comes to run/pass per game allowed. We can do it. Why don't we do that right now? I had this as kind of a part of the show this evening, and we're going to get into a little more of the preview as well with Next Gen Stats. But why don't we do that, Tim? Let's kind of look and see where – and thank you, Rail, for bringing that up, buddy. Let's kind of see what the defense has done as a whole. First of all, scoring defense, and let's go points per play. This year, so far, the Green Bay Packers are sitting at 0.323. All right, 0.323. And last year, they finished at 0.334. So they are definitely better this year. Last year, they finished 12th. This year, they're sitting at 19. All right. Now, let's go to, just to kind of keep it pretty simple, let's go rushing defense. And let's go would you rather go yards per rush attempt or rushing yards per game, Tim? How do you feel about that? Because I tend to lean on rushing yards per attempt. But what do you think would be the best gauge to see how we're stacking up this year as opposed to last year?
I think given the convo we just had about the running backs, let's go with yards per rush attempt, right? Let's kind of get a year-to-year comparison. Maybe we can see the change between Jones and Jacobs here so far.
We're actually talking about
D. We're talking on D. I get you. Yeah, let's go attempt.
All right, cool. So when you're talking attempts, the Packers are tied for 10th, actually tied for 9th this year, allowing 4.3 yards per attempt. All right, 4.3 is the number so far this year. And again, what was that? 4.3 for 9th. All right. And then last year, the Green Bay Packers yards per rush attempt allowed was 4.5.
4.5 for 25th, though.
Yeah. So you went from 25th up to 9th. And what's crazy is, if you'll remember, I think it was after the Indy game, we were like, really bad. Like it was a lot worse than that. So according to these numbers, you climbed in ranking, but your yards per carry allowed has gone down a touch. So, or has gone up, meaning you dropped a little bit as far as production goes, but still pretty comparable. What would you like to do? I think you have to go by overall ranking, don't you? That's probably the best gauge of how everybody's stacking up through the NFL rather than going yards per carry. You agree with that, Tim? Like right now, I'm saying points per play. 2024 is better. I think it's hands down better, right?
Yeah.
What would you consider there, seeing that we're giving up more yards per carry this year, but last year we gave up more yards per carry, right? So it's definitely better this year, all the way around, right?
Yeah. It really seems like it.
Yeah. So let's see. Let's go down one more. 2024. Yeah, definitely. So it's 2024. So we got better there, right? All right. Now let's go to passing defense. And passing defense, let's go to yards per pass attempt, kind of break it down to remove some of the wonkiness of that. And when it comes to passing yards allowed per attempt, this year you're at 6.6. So 6.6 compared to last year where we were 6.7. So we've gotten better there too, all the way around. When it comes to points per play, the defense has improved. When it comes to rushing yards per attempt, the defense has improved. And when it comes to passing yards per attempt, the defense has improved. And you don't need me to tell you that the defense has improved in takeaways, which is the most important statistic. So,
and we're 4-2, right? We're 6 games into this year. So comparing to last season, which is a full season, we're 6 games in to this year, and we're already seeing an improvement. I love it.
And if you notice too, Tim, last year that first 6 games was rough. Like we went on that bad losing streak, and things kind of got a little haywire, right? You're seeing a better start this year. I think it's got a lot to do with the takeaways. There's a whole lot of things that come into factor, but the takeaways for me are the big thing. But yeah, better all the way across the board. TC fan with the super chat. This is Tom Cruise fan with the super chat. Appreciate you, buddy. What happens when this defense stops getting multiple turnovers a game? I still miss Joe Barry. Here, Coach Half is unimpressed. So let's say that we can't keep up this pace with the turnovers, right? And I think that's a fair way of looking at it. What it comes down to is points per play. That's the most important statistic for me, even more so than turnovers. And if there's somebody out there that says, Clayton, how can you say that? I'll tell you how I can say that. You have to choose one or the other. Which would you rather have? Give up less points and have more turnovers, or give up more points and have more you know what I'm saying? Like you got to, if you had to pick and choose, I'm going points per game and points per play every single time. It's the most important statistic on the field. That's what Coach Hafley was talking about a few weeks ago in his presser, and everybody rolled their eyes, right? But he's like, I don't care how we win. We just need to win. We need to keep them off the scoreboard. So, but yeah.
I do think it's a considering point, though, like to stress the turnovers, like looking at what we dealt with last year, right? How many squandered opportunities we had to, create turnovers on defense. We had drop picks. We had plenty of games where we were forcing fumbles and not recovering them. That's enough to make you pull your hair out.
Dropping interceptions.
Yeah, and it's like this year there's clearly, Coach Half's got an emphasis on, playing the ball. But at the end of the day, I'm with you, man. That's the name of the game. Don't give up points. You know what I mean? So if you're telling me they go from, 3 to 4 turnovers a game to 1 to 2 turnovers a game, and they're giving up, 21 points or 17 points a game, I'll take it, because I already know Jay Love in this offense, they're going to put 30 plus on the board every time when you need them to. So I think it's a valid point for sure. I just don't like it almost seems like there's an assumption, like what happens when this defense stops getting multiple turnovers a game. I could see it week in, week out, but I think consistently throughout this year, you're going to see ball hawking defense. And, if it's not picks, it's going to be punch outs for fumble recoveries and, guys being aggressive, playing towards the ball. So I agree, but I don't agree. You know what I mean? I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that this is going to necessarily, take a dip or, stop when it comes to the turnovers.
Yeah. it's just they're getting turnovers at such a rate that for me it's hard to believe that it's going to continue at the rate it is, because if it is, then it's going to be a record year, I would imagine. If we were to go to turnovers, let's look at it real quick. Turnovers, let's see. Let's go takeaways per game. All right, so this is obviously taking the ball away as an interception and a fumble. The Packers are at 2.8 takeaways per game. Let's see what led the league last year, Tim. Woo! Last year it was the let's see, takeaways per game. Yeah, the New York Giants at 1.8. So I mean, you had that's interesting. That's really interesting. So 1.8 last year. This year we're sitting at 2.8. So we have taken away the ball one whole extra time on average per game than they did last year. Now you'll notice there are other teams too. By that standard, there are 5 teams that have more turnovers than the team that led the league in turnovers last year, as far as takeaways per game. So again, if they keep it up, it's going to be historic. Let's go back one more year. Again, that number is 2.8, right? Let's go to 2022. 1.8 again. That 1.8 seems to be the number. Let's go 2021. 1.9. Yeah, Tim, this is historic, bro. This is wild. I don't know if we can go back this far. Let's go back to 2010. You want to? Green Bay 2.2.
There's a defense. There we go. That's what I'm saying. You're talking about every Sunday, Monday, Thursday, whatever it is, you're getting a turnover, at least one every game.
Yeah.
And we've had games with multiple turnovers. I understand like the sentiment that like you can't sustain that type of defense over the long term. You're going to have, ups and downs, but I do. I think this could be a historic Packers defense when it's all said and done. I mean, the chips are in play. We have the right pieces in place, and if guys stay healthy, who knows? Sky's the limit. But I do like what TC fan says here. It's kind of coming at it from realistic optimism, basically.
Right.
We know this defense is the real deal, but how long can they sustain the turnover machine that they've created? I get it.
Yeah, definitely. Again, thank you for the super chat, TC. We appreciate you, pal. 2-0 for this says, along those lines, I think we win tomorrow if we score more points than the Texans. I'd say you're probably right there. So.
Astute observation.
I'm telling you. And if you go 2 points per play for our offense, let's just take a quick look here and see how we're doing. Points per play. The Packers are 8th in the league at 0.420. You got Tampa, Buffalo, Washington, Minnesota, Detroit, Cincinnati, Baltimore, then Green Bay. Chicago's 14th currently. So there you go. But again, I'm glad he asked that question, because it is nice to go back and look. And again, 2009 and 2010, Green Bay Packers were top 3 in takeaways per game.
Why don't we go back to 96 and 97? Can we go back that far?
Don't think we can, Tim. We'd have to fire up the old MS-DOS. You know what I mean? We can go back to 2003. That's it. So
okay.
But again, pretty cool stuff there. All right, let's shift gears and jump into a little next-gen stats, insights, preview of the game, what have you. Let me try to stretch this out just a touch. I think we're good right there. All right. So, obviously, the Packers are 3-point favorites tomorrow at Lambeau Field. It's going to be on CBS. I said before I thought Tom Brady was calling the game, and the reason I thought that was because we used the graphic that Fox Sports put out, Fox NFL Sunday put out earlier in the year, and it was talking about their games of the year. And I just assumed it was their broadcast, and they were kind of picking, hey, these are going to be our best games. But it's obviously on CBS, so it will be Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. Maybe you think, Tim, or is it they probably be in the 4 o'clock hour? Who are the announcers? We need to figure this out.
We should be able to figure that out, right?
I'm gonna fire up the old Google machine right now.
Maybe we'll get our boy Kevin Harlan again.
That would be absolutely awesome.
That would be awesome, I mean, we'll take Burlington, Wisconsin's own Tony Romo too. I mean, of course. But I think it is tricky sometimes when you see those graphics like on the socials. I've seen that before also, where you'll see a Fox graphic or a CBS Sports graphic, and you think, they're previewing a game that they're, broadcasting, and it's just it's not. It's just them doing a breakdown or, kind of predictions or whatever it is. But It would have been nice. It would have been nice if this game was at 3:15 or Sunday Night Football. Honestly, but we'll take a nooner at home, and this is, for all intents and purposes, a possible Super Bowl preview. Whether it's this year, next year, the year after, I don't know. But you look at Jordan Love, you look at C.J. Stroud, you look at the Texans, you look at the Packers. You see a lot of similarities. You see an extremely high ceiling, and the window is open for both of these teams right now. And it's going to be a fun battle to watch, regardless of who broadcasts it, right?
Yeah. And like J. Cole mentions in the chat, it's Romo and Nance. So did United Bates. Appreciate y'all. I just looked it up and got confirmation too. So it will be Tony Romo and Jim Nance. Those are two of my favorite announcers. I know a lot of people like to dog on them. It seems like whoever the top crews are, people dog on them. I like Tony Romo's insight. I know some people don't like that, but I love the fact that you got a guy who played in the league for so many years kind of talking about how he's seeing the game, what's he seeing it from. If it's somebody like that calling the game, I'll typically turn the announcing on. But
yeah, and Jim Nance is a legend in his own right. Been doing this for a long time, so got to respect him.
Definitely. 2-0 for this wants to know who the officiating crew is, Tim. Have you done that research yet? I still haven't.
No, I'm just keeping my fingers crossed that it's not Mr. Tolbert,
I wonder if we could figure out who is reffing. Let's do this. Packers, Texans, referees. Let's see here.
Big money, no whammy. Big money, no whammy.
7 assignments. All right, let's see. All right,
How about Hockey Lee Jr., right? Is that who we got?
I'm showing Scott Novak.
Okay.
So he will be the head official. Let's see. Ron Tolbert has been demoted to the Bengals and the Browns. So they said, go over there to a game nobody's going to watch. Okay,
they called it in. They said, call it in.
Exactly. Who's the other guy you didn't like before? It was another one, too, that I'm trying to say. Was it Bill Vinovich, wasn't it?
Yeah, good old Vinovich.
Yeah, Vinovich is he's calling the Seahawks and the Falcons. So there you go, boy.
Cool.
You get all kinds of stuff on this show, man. We tell you who the bad referee, which games the bad refs are calling, and all that good stuff. So there you go. Let's see. Cody in the chat said, appears it was Joe Barry's fault, huh, Clayton? What do you mean, sir?
What was Joe Barry's fault?
Yeah, it's a little vague, but typically you got people that come at me because I was watching the tape last year going, this is not Joe Barry's fault. They're dropping interceptions. This is not Joe Barry's fault. People are blowing assignments. They finished 12th in scoring defense, Cody. And let me ask you this, bub. If it was all just Joe Barry, why did they go out and get Xavier McKinney?
Yep.
It was all Joe Barry. Why did they let Devondre Campbell go and go out and draft Edgerrin Cooper?
And Tyron Hopper and Evan Williams and Javon Bullard.
I try to understand where people come from. Like, what was it doesn't make any sense.
I mean, Goody literally retooled the whole safety room.
He basically said Goody all but said, we screwed the pooch. We got to get some new guys in here, fellas. I mean, you've got multiple new starters out there now. Your whole safety room's been revamped. Your linebacker room was pretty much revamped as well. It's just people, they got to have their scapegoat, man. They got to have someone it's their fault. It's that person's fault. I don't understand. It's just a weird way to fan. But I agree. Coach Lynn says it was a personnel problem. Completely agree. And listen, it doesn't mean that we talked about this. Doesn't mean Joe Barry was without fault. That's not what we're saying at all. It's just when you turn on the tape and you see a guy running butt naked through the trailer park, right? We're not talking about the cops tape. We're talking about the Packers tape. But you see a guy running completely wide open, and then you've got 3 defenders looking at each other, throwing their hands up, mad because you were supposed to do this. I was supposed to do that. That's, that means someone busted a coverage. And then when you have 8 dropped interceptions, Joe Barry, you want him to run out there and go, hey, guys, come on, catch the ball for us.
Yeah, at the highest level of football, like that's what you do with a 12-year-old, right? You coach them up that way. I mean, these guys are getting paid millions of dollars to do a job, right? Everyone likes to harp on the kickers when they miss one kick, but you won't jump down a DB's throat when he misses an assignment. You want to blame the DC all the time, but
it's my
it's
favorite.
true.
Mrs. Green says, Mrs. Green checking in bonfire side and can't believe we're still talking about Joe Barry.
Oh,
Isn't it
my
funny,
gosh.
Mrs. Green, that the people who
Sit your butt outside.
people who wanted Joe Barry gone still won't shut up about Joe Barry? And the people who wanted Aaron Rodgers gone and they're so tired of hearing about Aaron Rodgers still won't shut up about Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, they're retweeting Jets highlights from practice as we speak.
Right, exactly. Yeah, laughing emoji from Mrs. Green. I love it.
I love it.
I love it. So, again,
I think that's what Coach Len is hitting on, though, right? He said a personnel problem. So, like, it could be the wrong mixture of personnel, right? But it's also the personnel that you had didn't execute. So you had a lot of good players on this team that are still on this team this year that played for us last year. And those guys are playing a higher brand of football than they did last year for sure. And it's as simple as executing, you know?
Definitely. 2-0 for this says it was Joe Barry's fault because Carlson missed the kick against the Niners. Think about that too, because if you look at Joe Barry's defensive statistics as a defensive coordinator in the playoffs, pretty damn good. It's wild. But again, I'm glad that Hafley's here. Some of us are ready to move on. Others still want to bring it up as if they're trying to dunk on people. I think it's hilarious. But Coach Lynn says, when are y'all going to do a watch party? Coach Lynn, man, I have thought about it a lot the last couple of weeks. I think it would be a great time. The problem is we're going live for a pregame show about an hour before the game starts. And if you do a live watch party, that's going to be roughly 3 hours. And then immediately following it, we do an hour-long post-game show. I mean, you're talking about 5 straight hours of me staring at this.
It's tough to chart the game, too.
Right. The majority of what you would see if we were doing a watch party is this right here, I guarantee you. That's what the watch party would be. me charting the whole thing.
Along with the delay between the stream and the live feed and our commentary,
And some of us getting the game a little quicker than the other, and they're celebrating. Oh, they're pissed off. What happened? I don't know. It's just, it's tough. I love the idea of it. I really do. I like the idea of getting a whole kind of watch party together where everybody could kind of watch together at a distance. I think that would be awesome, but it's really impossible to sync everything up. You know, I think it would be cool to somehow pull off an old watch party of an old game, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That would be cool.
And we could do it if I got like maybe Zoom and did like a Zoom conference thing. We couldn't obviously broadcast it for copyright purposes, but it would be cool to kind of hang out, you know.
Yeah, maybe get the Patreon together and just do a watch party.
That'd be cool. Yeah, no doubt. But I love the idea, though, Coach. I really do, man. I think it would be awesome to do that. But kind of tough to pull it off with the normal day. And that's the thing, too. Like, I'm sprinting downstairs at halftime to grab a couple wings, use the restroom, grab another drink.
Right.
Like, just a lot of things that, you know, it's hard to pull off. So, anyway, the preview here, NFL Pro. Obviously, the Packers are 3-point favorites. The over-under is set at 48.5. The money line juice is on the Texans at plus 124. That's how that's all shaken up right now. Now, when it comes to points per game, the Texans are 14th in the league at 23.8 points per game. The Packers are 7th in the league at 27 points per game. Point differential, the Texans are at plus 8. That's 15th in the league. The Packers are at plus 41 in point differential. That's fourth best.
That ain't no problem.
Well,
records in close games. This is a really interesting statistic here. You know, D'Amico Ryans is a hell of a coach. No two ways about it. Their record in close games is 4-0. The Packers is 2-2. All right. So you kind of give a slight advantage there to the Texans, although some could look at that and go, they're due for a loss, right? Average.
It's like I said, let's not have a close game. Let's come out and start fast. Let's not get behind the 8 ball. Let's go up a score or two. Try and play from ahead, right? I mean, if we don't keep it close, we don't run that risk, right?
Yeah. Coach Lynn said, "Go watch Jacksonville's defense with Savage on it and tell me we didn't have a personnel problem." I don't know if you caught any of that game. That's absolute cheeks. That team has given up on Peterson, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Average margin of victory, Tim. The Texans are 22nd at 7 points. All right. The average margin of victory for the Packers, they're 15th at 12 points. All right, so winning more blowouts, I guess is the best way to put that. Turnover differential, they're 13th in the league at an even 0. They've given the ball away an equal amount as they've taken the ball away from their opponents. The Packers are first in the NFL with a +9. So if they continue that in that direction, Tim, going to be an awesome game tomorrow for us Packer fans. You come out and you get a couple takeaways and you protect the football, you've got a really good shot of winning this ball game.
I really do. I think it's going to come down to, I mean, we'll do the matchups, of course, but how our O-line plays against their defensive line is going to be huge in this game. Honestly, I really feel like that it's going to be one in the trenches. Both of these teams have the potential for explosive plays, and I don't know, man. I'd like to avoid a shootout, but I got a feeling that might be what we're in for, and we could just see these guys slinging the ball all over the yard tomorrow. But hopefully, our defense steps up for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And as far as penalties, this is pretty wild. The Texans lead the league in penalties. They've got 51 total penalties. That's dead last in the league. And then the Packers are sitting at 46. They're 25th in the league. So
see, now I'm hoping we did have Ron Tolbert or Bill Vanovich.
Right, when you see something like that, right? No doubt about it, man. For those of you listening on the pod, that's going to do it for hour 1. We will see you on the other side for hour 2. We appreciate y'all.